I've been in, I was an HIV dissident for 30 years. I never read a paper all through medical school, residency, never heard how they found a virus. Not once. Nobody ever said it. Nobody ever questioned it. And I would encourage everybody, here's your homework. Go to your family doctor and ask them, how does a virologist know the existence of a virus and prove that it caused disease? And they will give you the dumbest answers you can imagine. Well, a consensus of virologists agree that it exists. Do you have to say it exists before you know it's true? Ask them. Go to your doctor, go to your local head of infectious disease and say, tell me how you know there's a virus. They won't have a clue.
But don't they say, because I think I've followed some of the sort of back and forth thing online and some of the conversations on Twitter and stuff, on social media, people saying, oh yes, the virus has been isolated. There is a genomic sequence associated with it, blah, blah. And it came from Wuhan, and, some doctors in India also found it. You hear. And that brings up the whole issue of the computer generated sequence,
Here's how they see the problem. I've come to the conclusion that apparently virologists don't speak English because they don't understand the meaning of the word isolation. Isolation means to separate one thing from other things. Like I have a cork in my silverware drawer. If I want to isolate the cork, I take the cork out of the silverware drawer, then I analyze it, and then I find out what it does. They never did that with the virus. Here's what they call isolation. They take snot, they grow it on monkey kidney cells, they take away the nutrients, they add kidney poisons, they add fetal calf serum, and the thing breaks down, and that's called isolating the virus. That's ridiculous. And then in that brew, which has genetic material from a kidney cell, from fetal calf syrup, from your snot, from bacteria, maybe from the air, they never find a sequence which would be the genome of a virus. They chop it up into little pieces, they put it in a computer, and they say, arrange that, assemble that into a long form. And they do that, they give you 1 million different options, 1 million, and then you choose the one which you think is the genome. Once you do that, then you publish that, and then everybody makes the same, uses that as the blueprint for assembling their genome. This is like if I said to you, Ramola, I want you to make, I'm going to give you 1 million pieces of Lego, right?
Yeah.
You know what Lego is?
Yes.
Now, I want you to make the castle that King Arthur lived in out of Lego.
I'd be hopeless at that, generally speaking. But
The
that's a
first
ridiculous
question you
kind
would
of task.
ask is, what did it look like?
Exactly. Where's the blueprint? Show it to me.
I'm not telling you. You have to make it up without seeing any blueprint. So then you would make something, right? Because they're giving you $1 million. And then you make something, you find a moat, and you say moats are part of castles, so must be, and then a river, and then a turret, and then you make something, and you say, that's the castle.
There it is.
Now the next guy makes something a little different. That's a variant. And then they make something a little different. And then they spend 50 years arguing over which is the right castle. And then somebody comes along and says, oh, by the way, there is no castle. King Arthur lived in the townhouse in the city.
Oh, great. This is incredible, actually. If this is the way they're doing it, isn't this incredibly fraudulent?
It's stupid. I don't know, fraudulent, stupid. I mean, Nobody would
Because
believe
they're
it.
deceiving us. They're deceiving us, the people. We're not the scientists in the lab, right? We're not working with this stuff. We're sort of on the receiving end. So when these guys like Fauci and stuff get in front of mics and stuff and say, we have found the virus, it's really dangerous, it's going to kill a lot of people, they're deceiving people, right? When they do things like that.
Yeah, but it's not just Fauci. It's basically the entire anti-vaccine community. They buy it lock, stock, and barrel.
Yeah.
And if you ask them, how do they find the virus and prove that it exists and prove it caused disease? They don't know. It's the difference. It's like if I say to somebody, how do you know there's a chair? I know there's a chair because I'm sitting on the chair.
Right.
And you can't, I don't believe in chairs, right? I know there's a chair. How do you know you have a hand? Because there it is, right?
You can see it. Yeah, it's right there, and it looks like everybody else's hand, and what the common definition of a hand.
Right. It's not correct to say you believe in hands, right? Because that's ridiculous.
It's more of a factual thing, right? You have a hand. Yeah.
Right.
Or
now,
a couple.
They have this thing called, viral theory, which they believe in. And people, they say, I believe in the viral theory, right? Because it's just superstition. They don't know how they came up with it. That's the problem in today's world. There's a lot of them, but one of them is people know damn near nothing and they believe in a whole lot of things. And it's like, I think Mark Twain said, it's not what you don't know that gets you, it's what you know for sure that just ain't so.
That's really good. But in this particular case, it's like you've got a whole industry, you've got an establishment, you've got a sort of establishment to which a lot of power is being assigned and affiliated. Doctors, as you know, are seen as gods within society, and they have for a long time, particularly Western society. So the medical establishment, the science establishment has established a lot of power, has appropriated a lot of power to itself, and presents this notion that diseases come from germs and viruses, which when you dissect it, it's exactly as you say. There's nothing to it. But isn't it a marvel that this has happened, that this whole industry has sort of risen up, and they've been holding people captive to these ideas, which kind of fall apart when you look very closely at them.
Yeah, but it's the same with economics. They make up money and they get everybody to believe it's real. It's the same with politics. They make this government and they get everybody to think it's real. It's the same with school. The purpose of school is to keep people from being educated, and so they fool you with that. There was a friend of mine wrote this book. It's called The Culture of Make-Believe. And that's what we are. We don't know anything. We believe in all kinds of nonsense. And I think maybe that's deliberate. I mean, I don't know, but that's so science, so-called science is just full of nonsense. And if you actually dissect it, one of the things that, I don't just stop at the viral theory.